Happy New Year, Arrows! Welcome to 2026's first edition of Dr. D's Pizza Party, a monthly video series where I interview staff members in the Watertown School District so you can get to know them a little better. Each month we also feature a pizza place from here in Watertown. This month's pizza is from Pizza Ranch. And do we have a Bronco here?
We do. It's Bronco, one of the original Pizza Ranch pizzas.
Oh yeah. Today's guest is Mr. Tim Kruse, our Director of Technology here in the Watertown School District. Welcome, Tim.
Thanks for having me. You know, I always hope to be on a pizza podcast, but I was thinking maybe Dave Portnoy, but I'm excited to be with Jeff Danielsen instead.
I think, we'll take that as a win for me, I guess. So why don't we start by having you introduce yourself, tell the audience and myself a little bit about you.
So I'm Tim Kruse. I'm originally from a small town in Iowa, George, Iowa. Kind of why we chose Pizza Ranch. It was the third Pizza Ranch ever, I believe. But graduated from George Little Rock High School in Iowa, went to undergrad at USF in Sioux Falls. Kind of took a career turn at that point, went to Boys Town in Omaha, and my wife and I were family teachers there for 2 years, where we had youth living with us in our home. From there, I came up to Watertown. The job brought me up here. I had never really been north of Brookings, other than for maybe a track meet at that point in my life, but came to Watertown, taught on the alternative team at Watertown Middle School for a few years, transitioned to administration, was the assistant principal for a couple years at the intermediate school when that opened, and then transitioned to the principal job there, and then now I'm in my current role as the technology director here at Watertown School District.
Awesome. So how many years have you been working here in Watertown?
So I moved here in 2012, so I believe I'm going into my 14th year next year. When I moved up here, I had planned to stay for 2 years, and here we are.
The great Northeast.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk a little bit, you just mentioned it, but you had a change in your role this year. So talk a little bit about the change in the role and how that impacts students in the Watertown School District. And maybe if you even want to compare, contrast the role of a principal with the role of technology director.
So it's kind of an interesting path for me. I loved being in the classroom. I loved the role of teaching. Never really thought about going into administration until the dissolution of the alternative team at the middle school several years ago. That brought me into administration, and at first I struggled because I didn't think I'd have the same impact on students, but quickly found out I was able to have a larger impact because I had more access to students, more access to staff, things like that, and fell in love with it. I fell in love with the role of being a principal. I loved the intermediate school. I loved the staff there, the students, the families. And in the process, I fell in love with Watertown. And this past year, this position opened, and it's one of those niches I've always had, educational technology. And so I thought, it'd be a good opportunity to try something different. But I also like the fact that I can be boots on the ground in classrooms, helping people and making essentially giving students, teachers access to what they need so we can continue to learn and be functional and have the best school district in the state, in my opinion.
All right, that's great. That is great. I sometimes call it like a field of dreams moment of how we decide to get into education. What inspired you?
Well, that's a good question. Probably like a lot of teachers, I was a good student. I enjoyed school, I enjoyed the social aspect of it, I enjoyed learning. That was probably the foundational inspiration for me. However, I will say I started in elementary education and did a month-long practicum in second grade, and quickly found out the you're not touching me nonstop from the students was not the role for me. So I transitioned to history education and became an upper level history teacher. But in the meantime, I will say I have fallen in love with public education, and I do believe in our public education system. I think education is a right that everybody should have equal and fair access to. And so during my time as an administrator, I have fought hard for public education, and I continue to fight hard for public education. And Hopefully I can be an inspiration for others to continue that path into the public education field, but kind of a long way of saying that's how I got into education, but I've fallen in love more with it the longer I've been in it.
Excellent, excellent. I know it's only been, one semester really, but what's your favorite part about being the technology director?
Well, playing with the new technology. I mean, as simple as that is, I like being on the forefront of the technology side of it and then helping other people get access to things to make it easier for them. We're an Apple school district, and the thing I always appreciate about Apple is their Genius Bar and the idea that it's for the end user. And I have liked working with staff on how we can make learning better and how we can incorporate technology to enhance the learning in classrooms.
Pretty cool, pretty cool. So I know you do quite a bit of traveling. Yeah, you and your wife like to go out and see the sights. Do you have any memorable travel moments that might be fun to share?
I have several memorable travel moments. I will say for anybody who is looking to travel, see something new, Utah is the most underrated state in our nation. You can go from hiking in the low desert up to the snow-capped mountains, and it's just beautiful. Last summer my wife and I took a trip. We called it our office trip. We are classic millennials, love The Office, and so we went out to Niagara Falls and did the Jim and Pam, wedding at Niagara Falls, and then went to Scranton, Pennsylvania, and stayed there and saw all the sights. That was a fun trip that I'll remember forever too. But definitely do like to experience new things.
You want to try and get to all 50 states or anything crazy like that?
Well, so I have actually been through all 49 of, the 48 contiguous states and Alaska. And Hawaii is the only state I have not been to, and I will say I probably don't have plans to ever go there.
Oh,
I'd like to check it off my list, but there's a lot of other places I think I'd rather see than go to another beach. But
all right, okay. What other hobbies do you have outside of school?
Well, that's been part of this process. Tech used to be my hobby, and now it's my job, and so I've been kind of refining myself. I love to read. I like fantasy and science fiction. Other than that, I like to work out, travel, but I don't do a lot of other things outside of that, I guess. It's just, yeah.
It's all right. That's all right. So tell us one thing about you that those of us who work with you, know you, maybe wouldn't already know about you.
Well, I was going to bring up the 49, that I've been to 49 states, but thinking of something different about me. I would say, a lot of people probably, they know I like country music, and I would say my dream job always going through college, if I didn't do this, was to be a country music historian. And I can get in the thick of it sometimes and know quite a few facts about country music history. And my professor in college thought that was the most ridiculous thing he had ever heard of. But I will say, Ken Burns kind of stole my thunder on that with his latest documentary. But that would have been the job I had if I had my druthers back when I was younger. But now I just settle for amateur country music history, I guess.
That's all right. That's all right. You got a job that pays the bills, so we're glad you're doing that. Anything else you'd like to add for the audience about yourself, about the job, about the district?
I just want to thank our staff for understanding that, we're here to help and try to incorporate and lead the district with technology to enhance the learning of our students. Technology is always changing, and changes will be coming. It's always advancing. It's never stagnant. And that's the one thing, as we go forward, to just be creative, help us help you, and I look forward to the coming years of this role.
Well, very good. Thanks again, Tim, for appearing here on Dr. D's Pizza Party, first one of 2026. So our sign-off is, let's try a bite of this fine Pizza Ranch Bronco.